Hello everyone for today who is joining the session. My name is Rosamund Kissi-Debrah. I am the founder and director of the Roberta Family Foundation. This is a charity that was set up after my late daughter passed away from a severe and rare form of asthma. I am also the new WHO BreatheLife ambassador, and I hope to be working very closely with Dr. Nira in the future. And we will be looking at hopefully children's rights to breathe clean air. The purpose of my daughter's charity, when we first set it up, it was to find out why my daughter had died from an asthma attack. What were her triggers? What used to make her have so many asthma attacks? Before she had her final asthma attack, Ella went to hospital 28 times in 28 months. However, she had numerous asthma attacks in our house, although not all of them ended up in hospital. At the first inquest, the reason for Ella's asthma was not really explored, although the first inquest concluded that Ella's triggers were to do with something in the air. I, as her mother, was obviously interested in what something in the air was. Through her charity, I did an interview where someone locally saw my interview and heard me say I wanted to find out why my daughter had passed away. And he asked me to have a look at the air pollution levels near where we live. We live near the South Circular. It's about 25 meters from it, and it's one of the busiest roads in the UK. When we did investigate it, on the night she died, the air pollution, the spike was one of the highest it had ever been. Over the next 6 to 7 years, we put the case together, so her lawyer, Jocelyn Coburn, came up with a fantastic idea to have a look at the monitors when Ella went to hospital. And we found there was a relationship between when there was a spike in air pollution and when Ella went to hospital. We put the case together. We went to the Attorney General in the UK and we said, we have new evidence. So we would like my daughter's first inquest quashed. It took maybe about 6 months when he came back to it, and he believed the new evidence we had was sufficient for a new inquest. It is coming up to a year on December the 16th last year. After 7 years after she passed away, the coroner finally concluded that Ella's death was a result of air pollution, which contributed to it. Not only did it contribute to her death, it was also responsible for starting her asthma in the first place. Over the years, whilst I was trying to get justice for my daughter, when I first learned about air pollution, I then began to look into it. And I realized that so many children all over the world also died due to air pollution. 500,000 children die every year before the age of 5 due to air pollution. But I found out that it had never, ever been put on a death certificate before. So that was my aim ultimately, to have the real reason why Ella died put on her death certificate. It was very, very important because she really, really struggled, but she always wanted to know why she had asthma suddenly so badly. I learned that air pollution is a silent killer. And what I mean by that is it kills 7 million people worldwide prematurely. And although they don't have air pollution on their death certificate, it is responsible, or it is linked to cardiac arrest, strokes, diabetes, pneumonia, dementia, infertility, miscarriages, all sorts of illnesses. All the major illnesses including COVID, are linked to air pollution. And that's why we say it is a silent killer. What can patients and organizations work together? It is very, very important, and the coroner said this, that number two, there is monitoring all over the world. Because when I looked at maps, some countries are better at monitoring than others. So it would be very important for countries to monitor air pollution, tell their citizens the air they are breathing, and do something about it. I believe if you tell people about the air they are breathing, they will react to this, because a lot of parents care about these issues, but they don't know the air they are breathing. So I think that's very, very important. It's also very important for people who understand air pollution, need to educate citizens as well, i.e. tell them the damage this is doing to their health, because there is a lot of information out there and a lot of people don't have time to read all that information. And lastly, it's very important for doctors to tell their patients, if they have patients coming into the hospital all the time with asthma, it's very important they actually look where they live to have a conversation. If they live near a busy road, they might be able to advise them to go down a quieter route. The further away you are from a busy road, the better it is for you. Next generations, how can young people engage in the awareness of respiratory health? Well, young people have already started, and what they need to understand that climate change is an actual health crisis. And I think it is up to the people in climate change to tell young people and educate them that climate change isn't about 5 or 10 years. It is to do with the air they are breathing now, because some of those children, sadly, will not be alive in 2030, 2040, or 2050 due to air pollution. It is very important that young people understand the impact air pollution has on their lungs. What do I mean by that? Because they are young, when they're breathing in filthy air, it is stunting their lung growth and their brains as well. So it is very important young people have a good understanding how air pollution affects them. They are far more vulnerable than an adult. Also, because young people are smaller, the fumes and the PM 2.5 and nitrogen dioxide, it is bound to affect them more by inhaling that. My final message for mothers, caregivers, and everyone across all nations is, COP26 has shown us, unless we voice our concerns, we are going to be ignored. We need to rise up across the world, all over, and tell the fossil fuel companies and governments that enough is enough, no more, that our children are suffering. We need to get together collectively across the world. Right now, as we look in India, we can see what is going on there, where children are having to stay indoors. Yet the same time I say that, in America, President Biden is doing $1 billion deal with crude oil. So we are giving people mixed messages. President Biden was in COP26 2 weeks ago, and yet he's gone back to America to do this massive deal. So I think leaders need to lead and the people need to be guided, and we need to stop giving mixed messages. But the citizens of the world need to say to them, enough is enough. We need to vote with our feet. We now need to not support organizations who support fossil fuels, because fossil fuels ultimately are what is killing us, and we need to make a decision about that. So all mothers, and we've started it, we have an organization called Warrior Mothers, and we would like all mothers from all over the world to join us, and together we will be a very, very powerful force. And our message is, enough is enough. We're not going to wait to 2030, 2040, or 2050. It needs to be race to zero, and it needs to start now. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope we can grow stronger in numbers from here forward. Thank you.